welcome back to the Pokemon Labs Midseason Showdown. We've got a really intense match for you because this is the round 5. This is the last of the Swiss rounds, and whoever wins this has a shot at making top 8, but whoever loses is out for good because both of them, 2 wins, 2 losses. We got Ashley Stelzer and Blake Johnson, and I'm ready to get into this. Are you ready to get into this?
Oh yeah,
let's do it.
It's always nice. This is what I like about mid-season showdowns is, you know, you get to see some names of people that, you know, you don't always see on the big regional streams, and it's important to show that people play Pokemon all across these different levels, and so, you know, now they got a chance to get out there and show us what we got, and we got some interesting teams here. Ashley's rocking the Ludicolo, Kyogre, Kartana, Tapu Lele, and one of my favorite restricted Pokemon, Yveltal, and Incineroar. And Blake has got the a little more common Space X with that Xerneas and the Lunala, alongside a Toxicroak, a Kartana, Incineroar, and what we rarely see, at least in this format, is Scrafty.
You know what? Blake running that Scrafty is something I love to see. I love Scrafty. I used it back in 2017, I think it was, or whatever.
2018.
18, that's it. Yeah, so I loved using it. It was really fun. But it's been really threatened by all the Xerneas around. Ashley's team does not have a Xerneas. It's only got Lele. I want to see that Scrafty. Also, Blake's team has 3 possible fake-out users. I'm not sure if all of them are carrying it. We have Toxicroak, Incineroar, and Scrafty. So, keeping that in mind, there's a lot of fake-out pressure on Ashley. Tapu Lele obviously counters that, but that won't help for her Yveltal. So, she wants to be careful of making sure that fake-out doesn't affect her too much.
Yeah, and I think what's going to be really interesting here and important is just, like, as we see, I think it's just the Toxicroak and the Xerneas lead from Blake, and the Yveltal and, what is that, Kartana lead from Ashley. And this is just really what I think this match is going to be all about, is stopping Xerneas setting up, because once Blake's done that, there's really not a whole lot that Ashley has to answer, especially now that there's a fake out here. As we all know, Yveltal isn't the best at handling its legendary counterpart.
No, Yveltal, it has one key trick that it's kind of underrated. It's Snarl. Snarl's able to at least cripple Xerneas for the first turn, get it down to +1 in special attack, which is, it's still +1, but it's much better scenario than getting a full Geomancy. And Fake Out's going to be interesting because either one could be benefit for Blake here by being fake outed.
Yeah, and so Kartana is going to take the fake out, and now Geomancy going out here for free. And I mean, that's just such bad news because we don't know what the item on the Kartana is, but if it's Focus Sash, now Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam likely going to be able to get the knockout. Xerneas or Yveltal also going to be threatened here. So let's see what move. It's actually the Oblivion Wing, and that's going to be onto the Toxicroak. And that is going to do about half. I mean, likely the Assault Vest is what that signals here, but really not what you wanted here from Ashley. She's pretty much back against the wall.
Yeah, in this case, there's really nothing I see she can do to make sure that Xerneas doesn't sweep her team. A Dazzling Gleam, maybe if the Kartana is Assault Vest, it might be able to take a Dazzling Gleam, but that's what Toxicroak's for. And Smart Strike will not do enough to knock out unless it's a critical hit, so...
It could be Scope Lens. I mean, if it's that odd Scope Lens... Oh no, but then you don't have the Assault Vest to the side. Yeah, pretty much bad news on both sides. So I think Ashley, if she wants to stay in this at all, is definitely going to have to switch somewhere along the way. But, I mean, there's still not a whole lot.
Well, thinking about... we're going to see Faint, so...
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Trying to get around any protects to make sure this bird goes down. It's actually just the Moonblast, so only makes you wonder whether maybe there's only a substitute, substitute instead of Dazzling Gleam on that Xerneas. But either way, Yveltal's going to go down having pretty much done not a whole lot. But that does give Ashley the chance to go for the Smart Strike on that Xerneas, and it's not enough to get the knockout here, but it is a lot of damage, and that is definitely good news.
Yeah, getting that damage down for Xerneas, it was a bit of a risk, because I think a Dazzling Gleam would have knocked out the Kartana if it wasn't Assault Vest. But getting that crippled down, now whatever Ashley can do to remove the Xerneas, that's what she needs to focus on. Again, I'm not really too sure. If Xerneas isn't carrying Dazzling Gleam, then Ashley can double target it, of course risking that I could protect. But that might be Ashley's only way to survive this turn. Also, Toxicroak on Blake's side threatening that Tapu Lele. Unless, of course, it is Focus Sash. That could be an option. That's been pretty common recently. But Poison Jab, Gunk Shot, whatever it has, it's going to threaten it.
Well, it's actually going to switch out here. Something else is coming out instead. It's that Scrafty you were asking for.
Oh my gosh.
Going to be immune to any Psychic type attacks here. and Intimidate will at least soften up the Kartana just a little bit here. And actually, the Xerneas is going to protect, wants to start attacking again once it has the benefit of Fake Out. So Smart Strike going into that protect and the Psy Shock into that Scrafty. Pretty perfect turn here from Blake.
Yeah, Blake really called that nicely with the Scrafty, though he does have to watch out for any fairy attack from Tapu Lele, at least with the Xerneas being a huge threat for Blake's side. The Scrafty has
actually no Fake Out. I forgot the Psychic Terrain.
Yeah, Psychic Terrain's up, so can't go for the Fake Out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a switch back into Toxicroak or anything else, really, just to survive. But
yeah, we're actually going to see a Moonblast instead, and it is indeed into that Tapu Lele. Wants to make sure Scrafty gets a chance to stick around, but it is indeed Focus Sash, which is going to be pretty huge here, because now the Xerneas is going down, and there's a good chance that if there's a Moonblast on that Tapu Lele, which, let's be honest, not something that that's a pretty common move, that means Scrafty is going down unless it's also Focus Sash. So here is the Moonblast. That is a powerful, same type attack, boosted attack, and that obliterates the Scrafty, and suddenly the battle swung in Ashley's favor.
I am actually really surprised that Blake had, well, first off, he really couldn't have seen that coming. The Tapu Lele with the Focus Sash, yeah, there's a chance it carries that, but another common item is Choice Specs or Choice Scar. See that a lot as well. So really, Blake couldn't have done anything to prevent that. Obviously, hitting the Kartana would have been a better play, but Ashley positioned herself well to double attack Xerneas and really helped out. And now Blake's gone. His restricted legends are gone.
Yep.
Too,
so now it's actually just it is just Kartana and Toxicroak left on Blake's side, and I mean it really I think is going to come down to which Kartana's faster.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. We still don't have Fake Out even though Toxicroak is on the field. And Toxicroak, if it carries the low kick, that does around 20% onto Kartana normally. So can't really do much with that. Blake's Kartana can also knock out Ashley's Tapu Lele, bringing us into a 2-2 battle. I'm curious who Ashley's Kartana is going to target, though. Are they going to go for the chip damage onto the opposing Kartana with Smart Strike? I'm sorry, Sacred Sword? Yep. Sacred Sword does around 50% most of the time, a little more, a little less depending on the Kartana spread.
They might both be fishing for Beast Boost.
Yeah, they could go for with that Toxicroak too, and I think Smart Strike would be enough to knock that out. So
well, Ashley uses her ability to switch to her advantage. Oh, and actually, this is the perfect time to reveal Incineroar because the Intimidate is going to be huge, and obviously also means that Kartana is free to focus down on. Wow, actually, okay, so it is just going to be on to the other Kartana as a Leaf Blade goes into that slot, does basically no damage here. And Toxicroak goes for the Poison Jab. That's going to be a little bit better, but you know, could maybe net the poison, but it does not. And now, honestly, I think at this point, Ashley can pretty much clean up the game from here.
Yeah, Ashley's in the best position. Flare Blast is going to do a lot onto both Pokemon. No threat of rain or switching. Really, the only thing you need to watch out for is Protect, and that's just a matter of time. And there you go, like that. But it's just a matter of time. You can only do that so many times before your Protect is gone.
Right. So Sacred Sword goes into that Detect, and Low Kick coming out into the Incineroar. Going to do a lot of damage here, but falls short of the knockout. Does at least get the information that this is a Pinch Berry variant. So it's the Mago Berry. And Flare Blitz will go into that Toxicroak. Definitely going to pick up a knockout here because, as we know, Dry Skin means it takes a little bit more damage from Fire-type attacks as a trade-off of being immune to Water-type attacks. And now, I mean, either way, you know, you Sacred Sword either one of these Pokemon, you might get a knockout if you're Blake, but then you're going to get counterpunched right back.
Yeah, there's nothing Blake can do to avoid this. I think Ashley really positioned herself well by switching it. Yeah, well, first off, Tapu Lele Focus Sash. I'm just going to completely compliment that because that was the deciding factor, I think. I think that, but now that surprise element is gone. Blake can plan ahead for that. He could go for really something else to beat it. I know he's got Lunala, so with that Lunala, he could be able to just go for that Moongeist Beam, and then Xerneas can go for whatever. So I think knowing that the Lele has the Focus Sash is what Blake is going to take away from this match, and that's going to be his biggest advantage here.
Well, I think also what Blake's going to have to consider is the fact that, I mean, he set up his Xerneas really early. Mm-hmm. Turn 1, had that going. Yeah. But he wasn't able to do enough damage, and, I mean, it really matters. It's a problem if he doesn't have something like Dazzling Gleam. But if he does, he needs to start doing damage to both sides of the field. He can't be, you know, worrying about doing less damage because, you know, it's a spread move, and he also needs to have a partner next to Xerneas that's going to be doing a little bit more damage. You might want to see this Incineroar instead. Obviously, you have to be afraid of the Kyogre and the Ludicolo, but you didn't see that from Ashley in that game. So that's going to be a much more threatening partner and still give you the fake out you need to set up, but Ashley could adjust. So it's a little tricky here in terms of what Blake is going to do. But really, I mean, he got the Xerneas. That's what he needed to win, and he just wasn't able to leverage it.
I think if he doesn't have Dazzling Gleam, he really needs something to help leverage his match against Kartana, because that's pretty much, the Kartana, it's a skill type. It most likely has the Assault Vest because we saw the Focus Sash on top of Lele. Could have a Berry, but still.
Yeah.
Xerneas is not going to be able to break through that Kartana. Blake needs to focus on, and his entire right side can focus on helping Xerneas remove that Kartana. Incineroar, Toxicroak, and Scrafty all carry stab options to remove Kartana.
Yep.
So I think he might want to consider bringing them in if you see the Kartana, especially Scrafty and Incineroar, because they could intimidate, and enough intimidates on Kartana means your Xerneas is going to take not just one Smart Strike, but you can take two, and that would mean Blake can get off to Moonblast. So the intimidate off of Blake's side, he needs to really think about when to switch in, when to get that intimidate at a good point.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also interesting here that Ashley pretty much won that whole last game without any restricted Pokemon. She only brought the Yveltal. She is actually going to mix it up in the way that we expected. So it's the what is that, Incineroar and the Xerneas, but now it is the Tapu Lele and the Kyogre from these Pokemon here, and that means no Fake Out, and this Kyogre is going to be able to do a lot of damage here, but you see that the Drizzle has gone off after the Tapu Lele, so that means it is not Choice Scarf. That means Xerneas is likely going to get a chance to go for a Geomancy boost, so it's going to get that special defense before it eats a Water Spout. But still, I mean, at least good coverage. Definitely going to be able to threaten the Incineroar, which is important.
Yeah, I think Blake actually does have a decent position to not set up Xerneas quite yet, but get Incineroar out into a good position by switching into Lunala. Lunala, Tapu Lele can't do very much onto it. Obviously, it's not going to go for a Psychic attack. It'll probably Moonblast if anything, and that doesn't do too much. Also, Lunala, if it survives the turn and outspeeds Kyogre, it can cripple its Water Spout with a Moongeist Beam. That will allow Blake to set up that Geomancy safer, but we're going to see Kyogre get out of there for Incineroar.
Yeah, so now we're going to get Intimidate and make the Incineroar on Blake's side of the field much weaker, but still no Fake Out option, so it's going to be interesting to see how exactly Ashley plans to punish this Geomancy. I mean, I guess she could have something like a Psyshock. Obviously that hits on the physical side, and you still get the Psychic Terrain boost, so you'd probably be able to chunk Xerneas for about half of its HP, and then maybe hang on if you get through the turn without your Focus Sash being broken. So it is the Psyshock, that is what's coming out. Let's see how much damage this does. Okay, so it is going to be a 2-hit KO. However, the knockoff goes in that slot, and obviously it's going to knock off the Focus Sash. It would have got rid of it either way, though. And now, the terrain advantage kind of bites Ashley in the butt here because she can't Fake Out the Xerneas and Psyshock.
I think Blake is now he's obviously in a good position to Moonblast Tapu Lele and remove it. I think a thing he has to consider is that opposing Incineroar. That with a Flare Blitz in the rain, Ashley's own weather might actually work to her disadvantage because in the rain, a Flare Blitz might not be able to knock out, and that means Blake will be able to keep his Xerneas alive for another turn and get another Moonblast off, but we're going to see Protect.
Yeah, well, Blake's definitely going to keep his Xerneas alive for another turn that way. We're going to see, probably reading the Protect on this Tapu Lele, so both aren't going to do anything here. And actually, the U-turn on Ashley's Incineroar is going to let Blake reposition into something a bit more threatening here, but it'll be also interesting to see. I would probably laugh a little bit if Ashley also decides to U-turn.
That would be hilarious, but I think it's also quite likely. I think Ashley, and we're going to see from Blake's side,
it is
Lunala. So yeah, I mean,
now almost you don't want to. Actually, okay. Wow, the roar. That is very important here.
It's in Incineroar's name, Incineroar, and I love when I see Incineroar's using that move because it is so unexpected, and it really can cripple any Xerneas team if you get it in the right position. Ashley did have it in the right position.
Yeah, that was a huge turn there now because the Tapu Lele is safe. It's still relatively healthy, obviously going to be a little bit afraid of this Lunala, but Lunala can't just stay out there with an Incineroar across from it.
I think if Blake wants to consider, can Incineroar knock me out right now? That Lunala, obviously threatened by knockoff from Incineroar, whatever dark move it has, but it's going to be knockoff. That will... Is it going to be enough to knock out? Sometimes from Incineroar it is. It depends on your Lunala spread as well. Because if it is enough to knock out, you want to get Lunala out. But if not, it might be worth the risk to remove the Tapu Lele. Make sure when your Xerneas comes back in, you're not going to get Psy-Shocked. Or, let's see what it's going to hit if it does stand.
Yeah, well, Kyogre is going to switch in here, actually deciding that this Lunala is either, or the Tapu Lele is more important, or that it's just going to be a safe turn. Knockoff comes out from the other Incineroar first, and it's going to get rid of the Wiki Berry on the Kyogre, and Knockoff goes into that Protect. So Lunala is going to be safe for another turn here. But now Kyogre is on the field, and if it's fast, could cause some problems here for Blake.
Yeah, Blake's... Well, he's got the Lunala. We saw earlier that Lunala carried Wide Guard. I think that might be... If Blake's carries that, that will be a saving grace for him. Because Kyogre, there's really not much preventing it from going for an Origin Pulse or a Water Spout, depending on its speed. That's going to be enough to knock out Incineroar. Right. That's going to be enough to two-shot Lunala. That's going to, and then we know Xerneas is at a lower health as well. That's going to be enough to finish that too. So I think really Blake can go into Toxicroak as well.
Yeah,
that would be a safe
if he
play.
has it.
If he has it, we haven't seen it yet. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. He could also go into Kartana, because we now know that the Kyogre isn't Scarf, so he's got that option. Actually, Lunala outspeeds that Kyogre. That's what's surprising. I didn't see that.
And the Psychic Terrain obviously working against Ashley here, letting it get that boosted Psyshock onto the normally more specially defensive, bulky Kyogre. So that threat is just completely eliminated. Doesn't even need something like the Wide Guard. And now Blake gets to reposition into something else. Yeah, this Xerneas doesn't have its boost anymore, but it can still Moonblast with the best of them. Or Blake could bring in his fourth Pokemon. Clearly, he is taking some time to think about it. He knows that he's probably taking a knockoff into this Lunala in return. Yeah. But it's not, it does have the Shadow Shield. It likely can still survive. But wow, that was a very good play. It is the Xerneas here. So it will be back trying to just get some damage here, probably provide chip for this Lunala. And the knockoff coming out, it isn't to the Lunala. And it actually does about a 50%. Gets rid of the Mind Plate, another interesting psychic boosting item.
That's interesting. I think that played into the Kyogre knockout right there. But I'm actually really surprised that we are seeing Lunala so fast. A lot of times, Lunala will trade in its speed for bulk in order to get abuse Trick Room or Tailwind. We haven't seen either of those off of Blake's side, so it looks like he's going just for a fast offensive Lunala. Everyone see that Kartana. I was going to say Xerneas was in a decent position because there's not very much that can knock him out, but now with that Kartana, that's definitely going to, if it can Smart Strike or knock off if it carries either one. Blake got definitely threatened by both of those.
He's got a good switch in the back.
He does though. I think he's really got to debate which is this Kartana going to attack. Lunala, if it's not carrying Focus Blast, is not going to be able to hit Incineroar, so he's really got to rely on a good switch in here to position himself in a better place, get himself into a better mindset to beat Ashley. Blake does have the advantage in numbers, though. He still has all 4 of his Pokemon left. Ashley has 3, but again, you have to look at the health stats of each one, too.
Yeah, so it is the Incineroar coming in for the Xerneas here, and the Intimidate is going to pay huge dividends, dropping the attack of both Pokemon on Ashley's side of the field. And Lunala just going to play it safe here behind another Protect. Smart Strike not going to do a whole lot of damage here at -1 into a Fire type. And a knockoff is just going to go into Protect. So really this is the perfect reposition from Ashley and from Blake. And the other good news for him is that now that the Psychic Terrain is gone, can go for the Fake Out. However, Lele is still hiding in the back.
And I think Blake, seeing that Kartana on the field, and knowing Kyogre is out, he's essentially got a free Flare Blitz onto Ashley's Kartana slot. Whether it goes into Lele or the Kartana, it's going to do a lot of damage. So he might opt out of that Fake Out in order to remove that Kartana or Lele. Lunala, I really would be surprised if it doesn't switch out right now because Incineroar is going to threaten it. If it's not carrying Focus Blast, it's going to threaten it for sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the switch in it to Xerneas because the only thing that we would, and there you go.
Yeah, but ask and you shall receive.
There you go. The only thing that will really counter Xerneas is the Flare Blitz from Ashley's Incineroar. And with Lunala, that's most likely not going to happen.
Well, the Incineroar is switching out for the Tapu Lele, so fake out is not an option here, but you got to imagine that since Blake decided to switch out, he's not really going for a fake out. Knockout comes out into the former Lunala slot, but now you just get a free Flare Blitz, and that means Kartana is almost certainly going down here. I've yet to meet a Kartana that can stand up to a Flare Blitz. And so now Ashley's down to just 2 Pokemon. It is good that she gets the Intimidate from her Incineroar, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think.
Yeah, I really think that Blake was able to adjust nicely here.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't get the Xerneas boost, it still played out for him where he's able to position his Incineroar correctly. There was really nothing stopping him from getting that Flare Blitz onto Ashley's Kartana. So I definitely think he was able to use that Incineroar to his advantage way more in this game than he did in the last. I think Incineroar is going to be, Xerneas is going to be fastest on the field. If it could go for a Moonblast on either side, both of them usually have...
Still doing some chip.
Yeah, I think the combination of the Xerneas and Incineroar will definitely be enough to knock out the Lele. Not so much on the opposing Incineroar, but Blake Xerneas with Moonblast, that's a powerful move even without the Geomancy.
Yeah, well, and Blake still got all 4 of his Pokemon left here, so pretty commanding lead. I think that the last sticky thing for Blake will be that Incineroar because, you know, he doesn't really have a whole lot of good options to deal with it. And it is a berry, so he's got to be careful about getting around that range. We finally see the Dazzling Gleam, so Dazzling Gleam confirmed does big damage to that Tapu Lele, which will respond with a Side Shock, getting a knockout. So it looks like Blake will be able to walk away here with a trade by Flare Blitzing into that Tapu Lele. And now it's just one Incineroar versus another, and its friend. And it's what we've got, the Lunala in the back. Obviously, that's probably not going to be what you want to bring out here. Also very important here, the knockoff coming out, and that means that Blake's Incineroar lost its means of recovery.
Yeah, you know, I still think Blake's in the best position.
Yeah,
obviously, he's got three. He's got 3 Pokemon. For the first time, I've always wanted to say Scrafty is going to be a really good Pokemon to come in. Oh, it's not Scrafty, it's Kartana.
Yeah, well,
I was hoping for it.
Sacred Sword's pretty good here.
Yeah. But I wanted to see Scrafty again. But yeah, Kartana was definitely the right play. Sacred Sword's going to outspeed. Usually does her out non-intimidated, around 50% on Incineroar. Yeah. Blake obviously is going to want to knock out that Kartana, but the odds of that happening are like... Ash is going to want to knock out Blake's Kartana. The odds of that happening are like 0% just about.
Yeah. So
Blake,
now we're going into Game 3.
Game 3. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Blake, I really want to focus on his Xerneas for Game 3. I'm not sure he's gonna want to set it up right away because so far every time he set it up, it's just been bad luck. It has not worked out, and I think.
Well, I mean, I guess it didn't. In that sense, it didn't work out. But I guess Blake was still able to get the win this time, so he didn't need it. But yeah, I mean, you have the tool. You want to use it as best as possible.
Yeah, and I don't think it would be bad to bring it in, but I don't know if leading with Xerneas is the right play because. Obviously, Tapu Lele showed its focus session, and we also saw Roar from Incineroar on Ashley's side. Knowing that is on the field, you want to get rid of those 2, and then you can set up safely. And I don't, besides Kartana, nothing else threatens Xerneas really very much from Ashley's side.
Yeah.
You got the Kyogre, but that's what Toxicroak is for, so I think Blake just needs to set that Xerneas in a safer place, and then he'll be in a good shot.
See, I think this is one of those interesting times where they both kind of adjusted. Blake adjusted one way and Ashley adjusted a different way. And I mean, you almost wish that she had had that Yveltal because that would have given her the perfect way to clean up that game. Didn't have to worry quite so much about the Xerneas because it did not get a chance to boost up here. So the way that both these trainers are going to adjust is going to be really, really important and interesting. You know, you still haven't seen that Ludicolo either. Obviously, you were afraid of the Toxicroak, but Blake didn't bring it last game. Yeah. And you got to wonder, is Ashley going to see the fact that it's not there and bring, you know, that heavy rain lead? Or is Blake going to understand that maybe that's a possibility and bring the Toxicroak? He's ready to pick first at least.
Yeah, Blake is set. I actually think we are going to see Toxicroak because just thinking about the moves on Toxicroak, it is going to be scared by Yveltal. We saw the Oblivion Wings, and Tapu Lele, obviously. But other than those 2, Toxicroak really can do a good amount onto Ludicolo. If it carries Gunk Shot, I think it's going to be able to one-shot it, Poison Jab, 1 to 2 shots it'll take. And then obviously it's immune to Kyogre, so I think if Ashley decides to go for that Kyogre again, that Toxicroak, Blake is going to bring in that Toxicroak, and it's going to be very useful. So
yep. Well, we will see now the final leads for the final round of Swiss here at this Midseason Showdown here.
There we go. It's exciting.
This is potentially for cut. We don't know for sure, but, you know, gotta imagine that one of these two has a good chance. And it's the Yveltal and the Tapu Lele here from Ashley into the Lunala and the Xerneas from Blake.
This one's interesting. This one's actually very, very interesting. I was expecting fake out 100% on Blake's side. I don't know what it was going to be in, probably Incineroar, but the reason I'm surprised now that we're not going to see that is Yveltal. Oh, and then we're going to see Psychic Seed from Yveltal. So that's interesting. Yveltal counters the Lunala, but then Xerneas counters the Yveltal. And Tapu Lele is kind of there. It's just like, there's so many things that counter each other that you can't rely on super effective moves. You have to rely on getting into your opponent's head and figuring out what they're going to do. Are they going to switch, Geomancy, attack? And if you can predict that right, you're in a good shape because both of these leads are good against each other.
Yep. Well, and I think it'll be interesting here. You know, Yveltal does have some speed control options. We saw that the Psy Shock did a lot of damage into the Xerneas, so really it's just going to be a crapshoot to see what both these players decide to go with. The Geomancy coming out here first and foremost, going to make sure it gets that boost and really threaten that Yveltal. So Blake, I guess, you know, hopefully for his sake, is going to try and finally make this Xerneas do its job and sweep through Ashley's team. And actually, wow, this Psych Up and the fact that it goes before it's even had either of the Pokemon on Ashley's side have had a chance to move. So it's free damage for Ashley, but I think Blake may get the better end of this trade.
Oh.
But the Tailwind does make it a little bit more tenable because that means that Lele is, well, actually, no, it's not going to outspeed. No. Yeah, this is just bad news. You can just Moongeist Beam and Dazzling Gleam. Or that rhymes.
Well, no, because
you need to break the Focus Sash. Yeah.
Wow, Blake coming out with that surprise Psych Up. I think that is probably my favorite move all day because that is like the least likely move I would expect from Lunala. So huge props to Blake. He wants to keep it alive for another turn. There's a Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, but this could be pretty bad news because the Tapu Lele is going to be able to hang on with its... Actually, wow. Both these Pokemon are going to hang on. The Focus Sash not even mattering here. And now Xerneas is gone. So once again, Xerneas does not get a chance to do much of anything. And the Yveltal is slower than the Lunala, but suddenly there's really nothing left to do enough damage to get that KO. I mean, yeah, a +2 Moongeist Beam is going to do a lot, but it's a Psychic Seed. That's pretty dangerous here. At least Fake Out will be able to affect it because it's in the air.
Yeah, I think Blake definitely bringing out that Incineroar is the right play. 100% in my opinion. You have Fake Out onto that Yveltal, so that means Ashley's going to switch, or it's going to get Faked Out. Either way, you're immobilizing that left slot. That gives Lunala the free option to hit Tapu Lele. Obviously, there is a chance that it protects, but if it does, you can hit it on the next turn. So this allows Blake to kind of force Ashley into a corner. Kyogre coming in, trying to get rid of that Incineroar, I think.
Yeah, well, Kyogre will be here to bring the rain, but it is going to be quite vulnerable to pretty much anything other than the Flare Blitz that comes its way. Tapu Lele also going to protect. I think Ashley just wanted to reposition herself a little bit here. The Fake Out comes out, and indeed, Kyogre is protected. And actually, that's a free switch for the Kyogre because the Moongeist Beam does go into Tapu Lele, but it's still threatened here. It's still going to be, well, actually, no, because the Tailwind. So, I guess depending on the speed of this Kyogre, you might get a chance for a Water Spout.
Yeah, but we saw it was already really slow earlier in the game. We saw it was Wiki Berry, or some Boosting Berry. And we also saw that Lunala outsped it, and especially with the +2, Lunala is going to definitely... And the Psychic Terrain, there's a really good shot that Blake's going to just go for the Psy Shock onto that Kyogre.
Yeah, and here it is. That is going to basically be Blake pressing the delete button here. Kyogre is erased from existence from the rest of this set. But that means that Ashley does get a chance to get a Psy Shock onto the Lunala. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but importantly breaks the Shadow Shield. So it does mean that something Ashley brings is going to be able to do a little bit more damage. But she did also lose 2 Pokemon that turn. And Blake gets a chance to reposition.
Yeah.
And that just means that Blake gets to bring out his last Pokemon, and Ashley is down to just 2. And Incineroar could, switch in just as easily on the next turn, get another chance for some kind of Fake Out shenanigans onto the Yveltal and another Intimidate. And that's bad news. I think Ashley may be a little bit too far gone here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Ashley, especially bringing out Kartana, which is one of the fastest Pokemon you could bring in. It outspeeds Yveltal. Obviously, there's another Kartana, so it's a bit of a speed tie there. You know, Ashley's Kartana might be the saving grace here. Lunala's, we don't know the item on it. If it's Assault Vest or Focus Sat, well, most likely it's Assault Vest because we saw
No,
the
it can't
Focus
because the
Sat.
Psycho. So it can't
Oh
be
no, I'm
Assault
sorry
Vest.
about the Kartana.
Oh, the Kartana. Oh,
so
yeah.
if Kartana is Assault Vest and carries knockoff, there's a good chance Blake will be able to hit it, and Ashley will take that hit from the Moongeist Beam. Let's see if this is targeting that Kartana.
Yeah, I think a lot of this game is really going to come down to this. If Ashley
it is.
wants a chance to win, this Kartana is going to have to survive, but it does not, and that means that is really not a whole lot here. Sacred Sword probably just going to mop up this Yveltal. Yeah, and that is it. Blake gets the 3-0 win over Ashley, and that means that he is going to be 3-2, and Ashley is unfortunately not continuing on with the rest of this tournament.
No. Although I have to give props to both players. I love that psych up on Blake's side, and that that was a deciding factor, I think. That Lunala stayed until the very end.
Right.
Completely unexpected, so...
Well, and it's funny because we talked about using the Xerneas, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, it still loses the Xerneas very early. But because it got the Geomancy boost, this Lunala was able to psych up and still make use of that boost somewhere. So in a way, he didn't use the Xerneas exactly how he wanted him to, but it still kind of enabled the victory.
Yeah, and I also think that saving that psych up to the last game
was
really
important.
helped him, because there was no way Ashley would have seen that coming. We didn't see the psych up earlier, and I think that element of surprise really favored Blake overall in that third game. It allowed him to take that victory.
Absolutely.
So maybe we will see Blake in the top 8 later.
Well,
But
you'll find out if you stick around.
Yeah,
that's
we'll
for
hopefully
sure.
see you. All right, see you later, guys.
Yep. See you in Top Cut.